The morning rush at Brewhaven Coffee was the usual chaos: hissing espresso machines, the soft hum of chatter, and the occasional barked order from impatient customers. Among the noise, one man stood quietly at the corner table, sipping his black coffee like it was his only escape from the weight of the world. His name was Ethan Carter. A single dad, tired eyes, rough hands, and a heart that refused to give up. He didn't know that in less than 10 minutes, his life would change forever. It started when he noticed her. A woman in a crisp white coat, her hair falling perfectly around her face, waiting in line like everyone else. But there was something about her. She carried herself differently. Calm, elegant, but with a sadness in her eyes that even her smile couldn't hide. The man behind her, however, didn't seem to notice or care. He was loud, rude, and far too close for comfort. "Simon, sweetheart," the man sneered. "How about you smile for me, huh?" Ethan's grip tightened around his cup. He'd seen this too many times. Men who thought they owned the world, and women who had to pretend it didn't bother them. But this woman didn't play along. She turned and said, "Please, just stop." That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. The man reached out, smirking, his hand grazing her arm. Ethan didn't think. He stood up, stepped in, and said, she said, "Stop." His voice was low, steady, and filled with a warning that made everyone nearby turn. The guy scoffed, puffing up his chest. "Who the hell are you?" "Someone who's not gonna let you treat her that way." For a moment, time froze. The coffee shop fell silent. Then the man backed off, muttering curses as he stormed out. Ethan turned to the woman, worried he might have made things worse. "You okay?" he asked. She looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time that morning, she smiled softly. "Thank you," she said. "Most people wouldn't bother." Ethan shrugged. "Most people should." She hesitated, studying him like she was memorizing his face. "What's your name?" "Ethan," he said. "And you?" "Claire," she replied. Just Claire. He had no idea that just Claire was Claire Lawson, the billionaire owner of Lawson Enterprises, one of the largest real estate empires in the country. But she didn't look like a billionaire today. She looked like someone searching for something she'd lost a long time ago. Later that day, Ethan picked up his daughter, Lily, from school. She was 9, all bright eyes and questions. "Daddy, did you bring me coffee again?" She giggled, knowing he'd always sneak her a tiny sip of his decaf. He smiled, kissing her forehead. "No coffee for you today, Missy. We're on a hot chocolate budget." Life wasn't easy. His job at the mechanic's shop barely covered rent and Lily's school fees. Every night, after she fell asleep, he stayed up fixing old engines in his garage, just to make ends meet. But he didn't complain. She was his reason for everything. The next morning, when Ethan walked into the same coffee shop, he saw Claire again, at the same table. She smiled when she saw him. "You again?" she said. "Guess it's my spot," he replied with a grin. They talked about small things at first: coffee, the weather, the strange old man who played chess outside every day. But gradually the walls began to fall. She told him she used to love painting, but hadn't picked up a brush in years. He told her about losing his wife, Lily's mom, to cancer 3 years ago, and how he'd been learning to be both mom and dad ever since. Claire listened, her eyes softening. Something in Ethan's honesty broke through her guarded world. She'd spent years surrounded by people who wanted her money, her influence, her name. But this man didn't know or care about any of that. He was just kind. Real. Days turned into weeks. They met for coffee almost every morning. Claire found herself laughing again, really laughing. Ethan, too, began to feel something he thought he'd buried forever. He didn't know who she was, and she didn't tell him. It felt good, being just two people in a small coffee shop instead of a billionaire and a struggling single dad. But secrets have a way of finding light. One Friday afternoon, Ethan was picking up Lily when a black SUV pulled up outside his building. Claire stepped out, dressed in a sleek black suit, surrounded by assistants. She looked different, powerful, unreachable. The name, Lawson Enterprises, was printed on the side of the car, and Ethan's heart dropped. "Claire," he said, stunned. She looked at him with regret in her eyes. "Ethan, I was going to tell you. I swear I was." "You're Lawson?" he asked quietly. "A's in the Lawson." She nodded. "I just wanted someone to see me for who I am, not for what I own." Ethan felt a mix of anger and confusion. "You lied to me." "I didn't mean to. I just didn't want it to ruin what we had." He looked at Lily, who clung to his hand, sensing the tension. "We come from different worlds, Claire," he said softly. "And I can't afford to get hurt again." She watched him walk away, her heart breaking in silence. Weeks passed. Claire couldn't focus on her business meetings, her company's success, or her wealth. Nothing felt right without him. Meanwhile, Ethan went through his days trying to convince himself he'd done the right thing. But every time he passed Brewhaven, he felt a hollow ache. Then one morning, Lily handed him an envelope. "A lady gave this to me at school," she said. Inside was a handwritten note. "For the man who reminded me what kindness looks like. Meet me at the park bench where we first talked, Claire." He didn't know why, but he went. And there she was. No bodyguards, no assistants, just Claire. She stood up nervous, her eyes glistening. "I sold one of my properties," she said quietly. "The money's going to build a community art center for single parents and kids who need support. You inspired that." Ethan didn't know what to say. She took a step closer. "I don't care about titles or money or what separates us. I care about how you made me feel safe, seen, human." He finally smiled. "And I care about how you looked at Lily like she mattered." Claire's eyes welled with tears. "Then let's start over. No secrets this time." He nodded. "Just coffee." "Just coffee," she whispered, smiling through her tears. And as they walked together hand in hand, the sun dipped low behind the city skyline. Two souls who had found love not in riches or perfection, but in kindness, honesty, and second chances. Because sometimes, the right person doesn't need to find you in a palace. They find you in a coffee shop, when you're just trying to get through the day. And that's when life quietly decides to change everything.